Welcome back to Hearty Conversations. We are so thrilled to have you with us. Thank you for listening, liking, watching, subscribing, sharing, commenting. Oh my gosh, you guys have been busy.
True. I like it.
Exactly.
I love
we
the
love
energy.
to see it.
I love the love. I love the energy. Go buy your mama a house.
Go buy your mama a car. We are speaking money into your lives. Money.
Your host for today, as usual, my name is Marita.
I am Miriam Gabriel Paul.
And welcome to Hearty Conversations with us.
We're thrilled to have you. Today we're going to be talking about something that affects all of us, which is work. Work.
Let me see, just.
Sorry. No, go ahead. I told you I can't dance, but it seems Queen Dancer. What? The ones who always give sweets. I think they were called Queen Dancer. I don't think they had a name. But yeah, we're talking about work. So without further ado, let's get into the conversation. How does stress at work affect your mental health? And what can your bosses or your employers do to make it better? What do you think employers can do to make it better?
First of all, I will define stress. Yeah. According to me, this is a specific amount of pressure put onto your emotional or physical well-being, according to me. And stress is like part of the work environment. It's like part and parcel of being at work. They go hand in hand.
Yes.
And stress at work, I had someone say good stress, but there's that stress that's acceptable, that stress that allows you to be productive, that stress that makes you, man, I have to wake up and go to work, because if I don't go to work, my leave days are done, they won't pay me. So that's, and it's even in our laws, yeah? But however, there is stress that's too much. There is stress that affects us negatively at some point. If I'm saying it's out of 10, there's that 10 out of 10 stress that now makes you start hating work, that makes you depressed, that makes you burn out. So I think that I learned while I was doing formal employment, now I'm no longer in the formal employment sector, that it's important for the employers to look at people in an individual way. Yeah. If the leave days, okay, are 20 days according to the law, if you know your employer from the start, even though it wasn't from the start, but if you know your employer fights with a chronic illness, give them room, give them more room, give them more grace. So when they come to you and say, hey, I can't come to work, I'm stressed, I can't come to work, I'm burnt out, I can't come to work, I'm depressed, give them room, give them a day off. It's okay, your work won't stop. Yeah. And then secondly, I think it's also important to have counselors in workspaces. If you don't have a workspace counselor, have people who do that work come over to have conversations with people about their mental health, mental wellness, because a healthy brain is what will bring healthy results into your workspace. So I think that's also a very, very important dynamic to have in your workspaces. 3, have boundaries. Yeah. There are some workspaces where there are no boundaries at all. Someone is just in your business. The HR is telling people your secrets. Those workplaces where you've taken leave, maybe you're depressed, maybe you have a certain illness, if it's not even a mental illness, you come back, God is on telling you, yeah, no, like it's that toxic. It's up to the lower level that you're welcomed with your problems that you told the HR in confidentiality. So I think it's very, very important for us to have safe spaces in our workplaces.
You've really thought about this. Like, I feel like I came unprepared. But anyway, like everything she has said, like if you're an HR, notes. Just be writing, taking notes. I think all of that is extremely important. Another thing is, I like what you said about how you need to look at your employees as individuals, as opposed to saying, Paul, for her, she has not even taken leave, but you want to take all that
more leave,
that type of thing. I think it's important to understand that people are individuals, and also important to understand the situations that people are going through personally. For example, yes, people who are ill, and you can be saying that if they were ill, why did they get this job? But like, we are moving towards an environment of inclusivity and of acceptance, and sort of understanding that you can reach the same point through different ways.
Yeah.
I think also another thing that can be fostered, especially for workplaces where it can happen, is allowing for alternative forms of work. So for example, if I'm ill and I'm able to do my work from home
remotely,
yes, I'm able to work remotely, and I'm still meeting my
deadlines
and stuff like that. I think you seeing me in the office is not the most important thing. I think really what I'm trying to say is there needs to be an update to sort of the way we perceive employment, especially from the employer's mindset. Like as an employer, you need to think more, and we're not saying that like allow your employees to just like run around and have fun.
Like headless chicken.
But we are saying we have found that there are different ways in which we can do things and still arrive at good results.
Yeah.
So you should be willing to look into it and see how it would work for you, because in turn, if your employees are happy, that in turn improves the work that they're doing, and like eventually everybody will be happy, is what I'm saying. Yes. That is the point. Sorry. The next question. Why is it important for work to feel welcoming and fair for everyone's mental health? I mean, that's anyway, work is like 80% of what you do. Like once you finish school, work is your school.
Work is just so integrated into your life, and it's the biggest part of your life. A lot of people say that you will spend more time at your job than you spend with family and friends after you graduate or after you get into the work environment. Yeah, so I really feel like it's really important, since we're spending most of our time there, let's just be kind to each other. Let's put policies in place that will enable people to be productive. Let me tell you, a happy employee is a productive employee most times. And also, I believe in the carrot and the stick. I'm not saying there should be no stick. I'm saying that let's find a way of balancing the carrot and the stick. And let's find a way of personalizing it according to the individual. Because you might, the stick you're giving me might not work for me, but then it works for someone else. And yet, like you said, I'll still be more productive without that stick. Yeah, I can stay home. An example, I had reached a point before I resigned of staying home and doing the work and being more productive, and I knew this. And when I would come to office, I'll just sit and Google stuff, I'll read articles. Yeah, so at the end of the day, fairness is a good playing ground, and also if you're those strict employers, like at the end of the day, your employees are going to lie to you. They're going to come to office. They won't come to office. They will kill off their grandparents, their mothers,
their aunties, their
aunties,
uncles, their cousins,
in order to have that day off, because you've created such a tough, toxic environment where they're unable to breathe, that they've reached a point of, Bamba, I don't like this uncle, maybe he's the next one to die. I'm sorry, I cannot come in today because Uncle Bob has passed on. And in the end of the day, there is no profitability for both the employer and the employee.
Do you think there's anything that employees can also do?
Yes. So, I was once on a panel and somebody asked, as an employer, how do you know that the employee is not lying to you about their mental health or mental illness, or in order for them to have more days off or days off? And I remember one of the things that I did for my former law firm is I had my psychiatrist have a conversation with my boss and help him understand what I was dealing with and how it might appear in some instances. I remember my boss didn't understand me. He was so strict. I was getting so stressed. But after that conversation, I remember feeling lighter and him understanding, because he was now educated about what was really happening to me. So I feel that onus is on employees to have these conversations with their employers. Yeah, bring it to the table, because most times the employers won't bring it to the table because they don't know, they don't understand it, all they want is productivity. But if you sit down with an understanding employer and tell them this is an illness, ABCD happens, this and this happens, I believe that there are officers that will understand it, and even better, they'll now call for a wellness talk, because mental health or wellness is not addressed in our workplaces. But if you start the conversation, it can go a long way, not just for you, but it can have a domino effect for your fellow friends or colleagues that you work with.
Gems, like I said, I feel so unprepared. Just gems. I won't even say anything. Let's just leave it at that point, so we can rest in Ray's knowledge. Yes. So why do you think it's important to have a good balance between work and everything else?
First of all, my question is that balance a thing? Does it ever happen? Is it possible?
I think balance looks different for everybody. I think what the problem comes in when I'm trying to make, like, for example, I see you, like, I'm trying to make your balance work for me. So me as an individual, I need to find that balance for myself. Because for me, my balance might be, okay, I work, but then I also make time to do my hobbies. Then for someone else, they might have a family, so they're working and they're making time for their family. So balance looks different for everybody.
Yeah, that's true. So I think in order to attain that balance, what I have learned is self-awareness is key. Being aware of the different things that work for you. Yeah. Okay, I want to work out, but I have work. Does my body respond better when I work out in the morning, or does it respond better when I work out in the evening? Or am I trying to work out in the morning because everybody is doing morning, and being a morning person is a thing because I read the 5 a.m. club. I read like 15 irrefutable laws of growth, and this man has told me ABCD is the way forward in life. No, I don't think that's something that works for everybody. I think on a side note that these self-help books are written on a one-size-fits-all kind of thing, and that's not what happens in our daily lives. We are different. By the time our fingerprints are different, We are different. So
Yes.
you can do 5 a.m. and I'll do 6 p.m. and that's okay as long as I'm doing the thing that makes me more productive. Yeah. So for me, balance is different and looks different according to a person and what works for them. After you're self-aware about all those things, do you even like exercise? I don't like running. I keep telling people if they ever found me on a tracksuit on the road dead, just know I was kidnapped, shot, and left there. But if they found me walking, like what works for me, I'm aware to that point that walking works, running doesn't. So if somebody told me, man, do you know how to help your mental health? Run. I'll be like, no nigga, you run, I'll walk. We'll reach a place just at different times. And that's okay. We all don't need to show up the same way. And once we understand that, then our lives are made easier.
I like that, and I like what you said about self-awareness, because it reminds us that, you know, sometimes we walk into situations and we expect everybody else to have the answer for us.
Yeah.
But in these things, because it's your life, you need to take the time to figure out what's going to work for me, what's going to work for my life. And it like, you need to take the time to do the self-work, which is why self-work is important. Sort of like understanding yourself, understanding how you work, understanding how you learn, how you basically react, how you do things is very important, because we can't say, oh, your employer needs to figure all these things out for you. Like we said, you have to go to your employer and say, you know what, this is the situation we have, this is the situation I have, but this is how I think. We like go with answers. And actually I realized someone is more willing to listen to you when you come with solutions. As opposed to coming and telling them problems only. Yes.
At the end of it, self-awareness is at the core of how we do life. I think that's basically it. In workplaces, be it with your family, be it with your friends, it's the roots of the tree of life.
So what are some of the things that people can do to help them reduce stress? I mean, it might be, but yeah, what are some of the things that people can like look into to see if this will be something that can help me reduce my stress levels?
One of the things I've learned is that there are things that are facts. Like if I work out, I'll get some dopamine. That's a fact. But when you work out is a variation of that fact. Yeah. So one of the things I know, working out helps. That's a fact. When you do it, depends. Does Pearl enjoy it more in the morning or in the evening? Does it make her more tired in the morning and then she's less productive? Or she's okay with mornings, she'll still be productive. So that will be the variation of the fact. So working out works. Eating healthy works. Your gut health is very important. Your gut health and mental health are very connected. They work hand in hand. I have learned that works. What else works? Doing things you enjoy, basically. What do I enjoy, me as a woman? I like staying in my house, so that works. So when I spend a weekend in my house, I'll be more energized for the week, as opposed to me going out the whole weekend. I'll be more drained. So that works for me. I'm very introverted, so I get more energy when I'm away from people. What else works for me? Being around my family works for me. They're just an encouraging lot. We laugh together. It just raises my mood. What else works for me? Reading. I enjoy reading. That works. So it helps kill my stress. Like I'm just here, I'm reading a book. The author is writing it this way, but my imagination is like on 360. Like it just makes me happy and also makes me de-associate from the actual stress that's happening in the moment. Yeah, so those are some of the things that work for me.
I think some of the things that work for me is rest. And rest, I'm saying rest because, like, you know, you can be resting, but you're like doing stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean rest, like for me, it's like I'm not watching a movie. I'm just like lying and like not sleeping per se, but like just like chilling. Like there's nothing distracting me. So for me, rest is important. I like what you said about staying at home, because I actually was like feeling guilty about it. I was like, Paul, you need to be productive. What do you mean you're staying at home? Who are you? But I realized for me, it's, and especially since I started working, because I'm doing my internship, so you get very few days when you're just at home. Like, if you're doing a lot of things. So I realized that for me, it's important for me to take some time off to just sit at home and just be at home, sleeping. I look at the trees, I walk in the compound.
Paul has a swing.
Yes, I go on the swing, stuff like that. So that's what's important for me. But I think to sum up this conversation, I just want to end by asking, what are some of the things that employers can be intentional about so that their workplaces can be places where their employees are safe and places that foster people's positive mental health? Yes, mental health.
I think have confidential safe places in your workspace. Let the HR do their job and do it well. Let them create boundaries for the different employees that are there. To invite mental health advocates to have these conversations in your workspaces, because most of them are even looking for outreaches to teach people and educate people about mental health, mental wellness, mental illness. Another thing you can do is, you know how people have birthdays?
Yeah.
You can get them mental wellness tools, like get them an anxiety ball instead of giving them a cake that they're going to eat and digest. If you identify, Bambi Pal is panicking before she goes for meetings, be that intentional with your employees. Get her journal. If you notice, oh Bambi, I've noticed Pal has a blog. Bambi, get her journal. Yeah, you might even give her cake and she's lactose intolerant. So be very intentional about your employees. Learn the way you monitor them to see, has she brought in the work? Is she working? Use at least, I'm not saying 50% of your time, like even though it's 10%, that will make a difference. That employee will show up and they will be more grateful, more productive, and it will be a whole different workspace. It's the little things you do for people that make them feel loved and that make them feel like they matter.
Yes, I think what I'm getting from all that you said is, as an employer, you need to be intentional as well. You need to, like, you can't just, live on good vibes and just hope for the best. But you actually need to take those steps. First of all, you need to educate yourself, because you need to understand like what exactly these things are, so that you can come at them from an informed point of view. And then also involve people like specialists in the field. I think I like what you said about, in birthday gifts, consider giving people mental wellness gifts, so that it's something that we normalize.
Yeah.
It's something that we realize can be done. Sometimes when people talk about you, like, hey, does that mean we need to have beds in the office? Then do we need like those what are the chimes and the om and all those things? We kind of go very fast. So if we're able to take these small steps, we shall have a better future. I feel like that's a motto for a school somewhere. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. We've talked about work, and for me personally, I've learned so much. Like, my eyes have been open. I've been in employment for like 6 months. Don't ask my age. Anyway, it's like been very eye-opening, and I think because all of us work, it's been eye-opening for you guys as well. So thank you so much for joining us. I have been your host, Mirabe Gabrielle Paul.
And now Marita.
and we are very appreciative to you for continuing to join us. If you have any topics you'd like us to talk about, comment section is your place. Do tell your friends, share, like, subscribe, all those buttons. You know them. You people on YouTube. You know the buttons. Yeah. Thank you. Love and light. Till next time.
Bye.